Hi, everybody. Happy snow day. I did not think that they were going to cancel class today, but sure enough, they ended up canceling last minute. But so obviously a few things in my presentation are going to look a little different. I had planned mostly in-person activities, but I'm going to show those still and try to let you guys like have some time to like work on them if you would like to work them out, but you'll get the gist no matter what. So I want to share my screen with you. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Click present. There it goes. It's loading. There it goes. Of course, it's being slow, but technology is so fun. Okay, so this is just a little bit about me. Here's me at my favorite place to vacation. It's Orange Beach, Alabama. It's just, I could go there for every vacation. This is my roommate, Morgan. She's a huge blues fan, and so we have made it to a couple blues games together. And we live on in a little house on North Summit Avenue. It's right across from Smith. So this is our house. My job is I'm a beer vendor at Arrowhead. So that's always interesting and exhausting because I have to drive home every weekend for Chiefs games. Let's see, what next? This is my family. There's my brother, he's 17, and my mom and dad. And again, we're at our favorite place to vacation. This is my dog, he's my baby. I bought him my senior year of high school and he lives at home for now. I hope to hopefully bring him with me one day when I move out for good. This is my brother with one of our other dogs, Alvin. Alvin is 13, so he's our little old man of the house. And there's me and my brother again in hot dog suits. I just thought that was funny. This is me and my best friend Delaney. Let's see. I really like plants. Unfortunately, like half of the plants in this picture are dead now, but I like to think that I'm good at taking care of plants. This is me at my other job. I work at Sporting Kansas City. I just work a stand there. I really like coffee. This is me at my favorite coffee shop. I love going on mission trips and traveling. This is me in Honduras with some of the students. This is me. I am a para in the summer. So this was me with my class from the summer, and they were my most difficult class ever, but they were definitely very cute. And then right here, this is my cousin. I pretty much call him my older brother because we were only 4 months apart and we grew up together. So just thought that was cute. Let's see if I can get this to go to the next page. So for chapter 6, no, go back. There it goes. Okay, so for chapter 6, we're learning about helping children with problem solving, which I really think this is a fun chapter. So the learning outcomes I focused on for today were discuss what it means to teach mathematics through problem solving, identify the problem solving strategies that are helpful for elementary students, and discuss why looking back is such an important phase in problem solving. So I really liked this video. Hopefully it works. And this is just kind of a fun little video you could show to your students to get them thinking about problem solving. Hopefully you can hear it.
It's not good.
Need this. Already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? Help! I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's nothing else left to do. That's it.
Hello. Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in a second.
He said he can fix it. All right. All right. That's more like it. He says he can fix it.
Life is good when I see the sunlight in the morning. Lying in my bed, it's Monday 10 a.m.
So that's kind of a fun thing that you could like use with, I'd say probably 2nd through 6th graders to start talking about problem solving, but really any grade could enjoy that video and appreciate it for what it is, because if you were to play this in a classroom, a lot of kids would be like, well, just walk up the stairs. Like, why is he not just walking up the escalator? So it's a great way to start the conversation of, when you get stuck, don't just immediately ask for help. Like, think things through and try to figure things out on your own, because that's a pretty obvious fix, but it's a good way to get them thinking about how they don't immediately need the teacher's help if they can't figure something out right off the bat. So, what is a problem and how is this different than an exercise? So a problem is something a person needs to figure out, and something where the solution is not immediately obvious. So like simple things like 2 + 2 really is too obvious for it to be problem solving, because you can just, most kiddos will be able to name that just right off the bat, like it's 4, or with a little bit of thinking, but they don't have to do any deeper thinking with that. So it requires creative effort and higher level thinking, and the child should not be able to immediately see how to get the answer, just like those 4 + 4 and 2 + 2 and all those little simple questions. And so like an exercise is something that has decently obvious answer, does not require deeper thinking. So that can depend on the age of the person as well, because like things that would require problem solving with a 1st grader would not require problem solving for a teenager. So like one of these examples that I liked was, for us, figuring out a way to share 75 cents equally among 3 people is no problem, because that's a no-brainer to us. But for a 2nd grader, this would probably be a decent problem solving exercise, because they'd really have to think through how to fairly split that into 3. So another example of an exercise word problem would be, Noah has 8 cherries and Elijah has 2 cherries. How many cherries do Noah and Elijah have together? So that's pretty simple. They just have to do 8 + 2, and they don't have to think any deeper into that. Something that would be more like a problem would be, a batch of cookies can be divided into equal shares among 2, 3, 4, 6 people, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 people with no cookies left over. What is the least number of cookies that the batch could have? And I obviously don't have like the answer off the top of my head, because I'd have to work that out, but that requires much deeper level thinking and working through the problem rather than just instantly having an answer. Like, you can't just look at that and say, oh, it's like obviously this many cookies. So I thought that was a good way to show that. Let's see if it lets me click to the next slide. Okay. Teaching mathematics through problem solving. So they had like 3 good signposts for this. So I just decided to like just detail those here. So signpost 1 was, allow mathematics to be problematic for students. So like, obviously we don't want to just give them math problems that feel like busy work that they can just like list off the top of their head, because obviously like they need that knowledge for math, but beyond that, we should really be challenging them. And so giving students problems that challenge them and allowing them to struggle and helping them examine and make sense of how they can try to solve the problem. So just, again, I've said it a million times, but just giving them work that requires deeper thinking. Signpost 2 was focus on the methods used to solve problems. So students should be encouraged to compare their methods as to how they got the answer, and to think about their advantages and disadvantages. And we obviously like, we do this a lot in class, which I really like, because like I feel like Dr. Ying does a really good job like making us explain like how we got the answers that we do get, because like sometimes, like obviously doing math like 48 plus 36, for most people that doesn't just like come to you real fast, like as far as like what the answer is. So I really like how we all go up and show the different ways that we get the answer. And so that's what signpost 2 talks about, like just not only thinking through the problems, but also seeing the other ways that you could think through that problem. And then signpost 3 was tell the right things at the right time, because obviously in a lot of these problems, students are going to get to a point where they might not be able to figure it out and they can't really problem solve any further. So just knowing when to give them assistance, like when they need it and when they don't, is very important, because if you give assistance too early or when it's not needed, it will defeat the purpose of them trying to problem solve. But if you give it at the right time, it can be super beneficial to their process of learning math. See if it lets me click through it again. Okay. And I was going to give you guys time to do this on a piece of scratch paper or like a whiteboard or whatever. And then I was going to have you guys come up to the board and like put your different ways that you thought through this problem and answered it and like show me your work. But we are not in class. So if you want to do this problem, you can, and you can let me know how you did it, but you don't have to. So teaching strategies for problem solving. So these were my 4 favorites that I liked because I'm wanting to teach lower elementary, but yeah. And again, this is supposed to be in class, so I was going to have you do a lot of these, but we can't do that today. So the first one was acted out. 2 students are standing in the corner of the room, and then 2 students join them. Now how many students are in the corner of the room? So this would be a problem that's like good for like kindergarten or first grade, maybe even second, but like I was going to have 2 of you go stand in a corner, and then I was going to pick 2 more of you to walk up there, and then have 1 of you be like, there's 4 students in the corner, just because like is a visual. It's very simple, obviously, but for kindergarten and first, that would be something they might need to think through. The second one was make a drawing or a diagram. Think back to Megan's pyramid problem. Many of us use this strategy to draw out the entire pyramid to figure out an answer. So I remember like when I was doing it, she said that there was rows of 1, 3, and 5, and there needed to be 6 rows, and they needed to know how many were on the 6th row. And so for me, drawing it out worked best, and I drew out the entire pyramid until I got and figured out that it was 11. But also you can look for a pattern, which was also another method that people use to solve Megan's pyramid problem. Instead of drawing it all out, a couple of you instead figured out that the number increased by 2 each time, and then figured out how many times you would add 2 on to get to the 6th row. So that was kind of interesting, and it's kind of cool to see, to be able to apply that to Megan's problem and see how different people use different strategies for problem solving. And then the next one was working backwards. And I was going to hand something out for this too. And it was this problem. If you want to do it, you can, but it's pretty simple. And I didn't take out too many boxes, but just like things like this, it gives enough information that you can figure out every number on this addition table, but you have to obviously like, so here, can you see my mouse? I hope you can, but obviously there's a missing number here and there's a missing number here. So it's really difficult it will be difficult for students to figure that out, but through obviously problem solving, they would be able to figure out that like if it's 2 here, no. if it's 6 plus, sorry, I'm stuttering. So 9 minus 6 would be 3. So then you put a 3 up there, 9 plus 3 is 12, and so on and so forth. You can figure it out if you want. You don't have to do it. Would have been fun in class. And then finally, the importance of looking back. So looking back at the problem. So how is this similar or to or different from other problems I've seen and solved before? So just comparing it to other similar problems. can really help a student because rather than having to like completely start over that process of thinking through a problem, they can compare it to other problems. Like if it's drawing out a pyramid, they can be like, oh yeah, well, last time I did that, I noticed that there was a pattern, so I didn't actually have to draw it out. And then they can mix and match like their problem solving strategies to save time. Looking back at the answer, so this is basically just double checking your work, which every teacher encourages, but students normally don't like to do. But just going back to the problem solving process to check for silly errors. So that's really important as a teacher to encourage that. Like, I don't know what the best strategy would be for getting students to do that, because I know I hated having to double check my work as a student in elementary school. But looking back at the solution process, so thinking of other ways you could solve the same problem, which is kind of similar to looking back at the problem, but like I said, like in the pyramid example, just thinking through other ways to solve the same problem, which is like, it's really good to get students to show their work in front of the class. Just like in the video we watched a couple days ago, where the teacher said that the students were mathematicians, you know, and they got to do all of their own research. This is kind of gives them the opportunity to look back at how they did it, and then they can look at their other their peers and see how they did it, and so they can see other ways to solve the problem. And then looking back at one's own thinking, which is metacognition, but just thinking of the skills you have and then how you use them within the problem. So just thinking about your thinking is very important, especially in elementary school. So yeah, I think that's all I have. Yep. But I'm sad I didn't get to teach you guys in class today. But I'm glad that we're all safe at home during this crazy snowstorm. So hope to see you guys on, I don't even know when we meet next, Wednesday maybe, but yeah, have a great rest of your day.